You are listening to SheKings with Erica and Allie. This is a podcast for peasants who don't want to live shitty lives. Every week we share insights on how to stop living out of habit and start living out of inspiration. So let's do this.
All right. Let me adjust my glasses because the sun is just beating down on me.
It's so hard. I can feel
I love
I
it.
can feel your ridiculousness right now.
Oh my gosh. You don't even know how happy I am when the sun is beating down on me. It's like my favorite just time of existence, morning time.
I think all of our listeners know.
I know. I just can't get enough of it. You guys, welcome to SheKings. I'm going to blow through this real quick because I'm super excited to tell you. So, SheKings, every week we bring clarity to overused spiritual buzzwords and little known spiritual concepts so you can live a life with more freedom and ease. And Erica, this is episode 41.
Yes, it is.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy to me. It's sun gazing time, my friends. And so if you've been listening to the episodes, you know that sun gazing is my jam. I feel like I'm a superhero. I'm taking in superpowers. It's everything to me.
Yeah, sun gazing is a tough one because people are like, so what you're saying is you want me to look into the sun.
Directly into the sun. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Into the sun.
Yeah.
But there's a tiny disclaimer though, right? It's only like 1 hour post sunrise, within 1 hour of sunrise, and within 1 hour of the sun setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not midday sun gazing. So tell us a little bit before we send people out there.
Yeah. Google it. Figure it out if it's for you. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. It just feels so good for me.
What does it do for you?
So it starts to balance out the energy in the mind. So it starts to balance out mental issues. And I'm not saying if you are clinical depressed or bipolar, stop taking your shit and go stare in the sun. That's not what I'm saying.
You're saying wean off slowly, people. Slowly.
Do what feels good to you. Take responsibility for yourself. That's what I'm saying.
That's a great idea. Take responsibility for yourself.
And then it moves into the body, starts balancing out the body. With disease, it just like, because everything that you eat or take in is infused with the sun. So now you're taking the sun directly, and then the eyes are directly connected to the pineal gland, which is basically your antenna to the universe. So it keeps it nice and clean. It just feels really good in my body. I just absolutely love it. So this is my 6th year.
Yeah.
6th year or 7th year of sun gazing. Mm-hmm.
Is that why you wear glasses, Allie?
Exactly. That's what Mark said. He just goes, I mean, did you get a little overzealous? I'm like, yeah, I could have. I'm not gonna lie. But I tell you, the first time I started doing it, I would have to go back inside and I would sleep for like 4 hours. Like it was the craziest thing. Like whatever it was doing was like, yeah. And that's a good point because a little bit is good. And if a little bit's good, I do like way more.
See, but that's, Allie, that's your thing. That's your thing. You take it too far. You take it too far because when you first start with sun gazing, it's only for like a few seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it felt so good. I'm just like, I'm going to see your 10 and I'm going to please you 30.
Damn it, Allie. But no, that's awesome. Yeah. I've done it as well. And it does feel really, really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's so funny because today that's my shit. That's my shit. It is, I want to share with people, rice water. So rice water for your hair. My hair grows so slow. And I have 4C hairs. That means that I have like the tightest, kinkiest curls like known to man. So like even when it has like grown down to my butt, like the shrinkage is so real that like, you know, you like pull it out and it's like, oh, it looks so short, but it's like so long. But anyway, there is there's this treatment for your hair that's supposed to come from Japan, and you essentially create fermented rice water by soaking water in any rice that you have in your house, white rice, for 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
And then, you know, there's so many different ways that people say you should treat the hair. Some people leave the rice water in. Some people use it as an overnight treatment. Some people say never leave it in for more than 30 or 40 minutes. Some people say never leave it in for more than 20 minutes. And so I am saying, ooh, that's my shit. Rice water, if you're trying to grow your hair out. The woman that I saw on YouTube, her name was, I'll put the link in the show notes if you guys want to check her out. But her first name was Rachel. She was absolutely amazing. She had lost like the edges of her hair. And literally in 2 weeks, when I tell you that like it had grown in and it looks so amazing, it's so funny because it's like a 15-minute video. But when she looks at her hair after that 2 weeks, she loses her mind. She's like, oh my God, look, it looks so good. It's there. Oh my gosh. And she actually does another video that I think is maybe another year later. And like it continues to show her growth. But I bring up the rice water next to the sun gazing because it's another one of those things. I feel like everything we recommend, including what we're going to talk about for this episode, is personal responsibility. People, you really got to see how it fits in your own life and see how it works for you. Because I can't tell you if your hair is not going to fall out because you use rice water, because you decided to leave it in for 40 minutes. You only should leave it for 20 minutes. Whereas when I'm doing it and I feel that it's awesome for my hair, but I'm not rinsing it out. Right. So I'm just leaving it on and spraying it in every day and just going through this treatment that I go through. So yeah, so that's my shit.
Excited about it. And you don't cook the rice. No, you just let it sit in the water.
It's apparently, and this is the thing where, you know, you really got to do your research. Some people do cook the rice and then they just save the water of the cooked rice.
Right.
But most of the people that I've seen have either left it in, just poured it in 8 cups of water over some rice. Some people say you got to use a cup of rice. Some people say it doesn't really matter how much you use. I'm total cheapskate. So I was like, that looks like enough. Definitely not a cup.
2 tablespoons of rice.
Exactly. I go for bare minimum here, and you know, pour the water in. But the key, if you don't cook the rice, is to let it stay out for like 24 hours at least, and it starts to have like that, you know, rice smell. But you know, whatever.
Interesting. I want to get my dreads down to my ankles.
Okay. See, this is Allie. This is the sun gazing right there. Like,
and I'm going to put it in my hair while I'm sun gazing.
Spray it in.
And while I'm staring at the sun
the sun is going to push the hair out of the roots, out of the follicles, just like push it up so fast. You're gonna make it to your ankles while you're standing there sun gazing.
Like exactly.
Spraying in the rice water.
Right. I'll just do like a time lapse video. All right, you got me pumped up about that. I'm actually gonna try it because my hair, like I was sharing with you, it literally stopped growing. I haven't cut it in like 4 years. My dreads just said, "Yeah, we're done." So I'm gonna see. Like, do I want them longer? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It'll give me something to do as we're in quarantine.
Yeah, I definitely. But you know, it's so funny. We have so much stuff to do. And I feel like I was like, let me take it slow. So guys, I've transitioned out of pulling away from society.
She's back. Woo!
I'm back. Right. But now society is all like, we're good. We're going in now.
Who are you? I'm sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. New phone, who this? So whatever. So anyway, let's get into the episode for this week. What we talking about? Episode 41.
41, sink, swim, or float. So, Erica, you brought up this topic and I absolutely love it. So, give us a little backstory to it.
So this one is funny. There is this personality called Luvvie Ajayi, and I have followed her for a while. I'm completely obsessed with her. I will also include some links to her her stuff in the comments. She has this whole thing about, I'm judging you. So it's like totally SheKings energy. It's totally SheKings energy. She's so funny. I'm completely obsessed with her. But anyway, she was on her socials talking about how she was talking to her therapist. And I love her because she promotes therapy for Black girls, right? Therapy for all of us, but therapy for Black girls in particular, and really kind of looks at the stigma that we have in this Black world about going out into the world and getting support. And so she was talking about how she had gone to her therapist, and she was basically saying to her therapist something to the effect of, when the therapist said, "How are you doing?" She said, basically, "I'm just staying busy." And the therapist was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Well, because, you know, it's sink or swim. I gotta keep pushing, especially in this environment of COVID-19 where everybody's in. So I'm just going to be creative. I'm going to be productive. I'm going to get things done in this time." And her therapist was like, "Huh, sink or swim? What would it be like to float?" Right? And it totally blew her mind. And so she wrote about it in this post. And so I saw it and I was like, praise the Lord. I love, I love it when people just take that time to talk to people who are awake and who are, you know, presenting ideas that society isn't even thinking about, right? Which is why I love talking to you, right? Which is why we decided to do SheKings. But so I saw that and I kind of followed up with it. She did a live on it on Facebook, and then she ended up doing something that I couldn't catch because of the time difference here in Amsterdam, where she actually invited people on to a private call, probably a Zoom call with, I don't know if it was her therapist, but definitely a therapist. And they talked about this idea of what does it mean to float. And so I thought it was absolutely amazing. One of my clients saw the post and sent it to me. And she was like, "I also couldn't make the what does it mean to float thing. Could you guys on SheKings," she's a listener, she's a goddamn SheKing, "could you guys on SheKings talk about what it means to float?" And so, yeah, you know, that's the story. That's the breakdown. So yeah, let's talk about what it means to float.
Yeah. So, if
Allie.
we focus on the opposite of floats, sink. Right? So sinking is, so if you think about it, just something heavy and you're just going to the bottom. So for me in my head, sinking would be you're not getting up in the mornings, you're not taking care of yourself, you're literally giving up, not in a surrender, but you're just, I'm giving up. I'm not doing the basics for myself, such as brushing my teeth, Sundays, what? So you're not doing any of those things, right? That's what I feel like sinking is. Like you have cashed it in,
Yeah.
absolutely cashed it in. And the story around it is, why? Like, why should I do this? Like, why should I show up? Like, we're on lockdown. Like, who knows if we're even going to be alive? Whatever. It's just like, just completely giving up. So in my head, that's what sink means.
Yeah. And I think I'll add to that sync can also look like slightly more functional as well, right? But it's definitely an energy of
Yeah.
giving up, right? So, you
Yeah.
know, obviously most people aren't getting up and going to work, but I've worked a lot with teams, for example, and people have that sinking energy, that level one depressive, drain the life out of everything and everybody energy. We're just like, I don't want to be around you. You make me feel tired. And for most of those people, they don't want to be around themselves. They're not enjoying life at the moment. Everything is a struggle, right? And so, I mean, that's the interesting thing when you like keep playing with this metaphor, a lot of, I'll leave it there because I'm thinking about this idea of drowning and how there's often a lot of struggle
Yeah.
in drowning. Um, but when someone is actually drowning, and this is why it's like so good to have like an actual lifeguard, because parents watch their children drown all the time. They're not struggling, right?
Yeah.
They're just like kind of bobbing, up and down. And it's a very, mm, yeah, it's a very heavy energy, a very heavy way of being. You need to pause.
So my husband is peeking around the corner because I know he really wants to make his coffee and it's loud. And so I know he's going, are you guys recording or not? So he's like peeking around the corner.
Hey, scram, Mark, scram.
Okay, so that is sinking swim. What is swimming to you?
I feel like swimming is this thing where some people it comes in the space of there's something going on to respond to, but some people spend their entire life in swim, and it's this make it happen, taking control of life, taking it by the reins, like really like pushing life in a direction, um,
Yeah.
forcing things to sort of work out the way that you want to work out. And I think implied um, in this metaphor of sink or swim is that you can't trust this letting go. Or if I don't push, if I don't make it happen, then I will absolutely sink. Like there's nothing in between. And so a lot of people spend their lifeblood energy in this idea of pushing, 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 making things happen. And I think that, we see this online with how many freaking medical experts have you run into lately who are like, I mean, what these countries should be doing, right? And so it's like, it's pointless swimming, right? No one is listening to your opinion of how this whole thing should be handled. And this is something that you and I talk about all the time. If you have something that you feel strongly about, then write your senator, write your prime minister or your, parliamentarians, reach out to them, call them, do whatever it is that you need to do. But this idea that we're going to take this online and then we're going to have a thread of swimmers, of medical swimmers, and ain't nobody a doctor and ain't nobody contributing to COVID anything, right? It's like people will swim with anything.
Yeah.
And it's such an illusion. You think you're making things happen. You think that you're creating or contributing. And even if something comes out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that energy of swimming is fucked up energy,
Yeah.
the thing that comes out of it is also going to have that sort of energy.
I like the words. So the words that come to mind are grind. I have to do my daily grind,
Yeah.
and hustle. And that's wonderful. Like shit gets done when people grind and hustle, but they constantly have to grind and they constantly have to hustle to keep what they've created and to keep moving forward. So that's the energy that they're stepping into it to make it happen. And then that's the energy that just supports it.
And it's tiring.
Yeah, exhausting.
It's tiring. And I think that is why, when I asked you, why do you think, because one of Luvvie Ajayi's things was she got such a massive response from people when she posted that. People were just like, float? What? Their minds were as blown as hers was. And when I asked you, why do you think it just hit home so much? Why do you think people like lit up with the suggestion of floating? You said,
because people like the idea of surrendering, of just
praise
letting
the
go,
Lord.
of being carried, of being supported, of trusting something bigger than them has totally got it handled.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to go to a float tank a few years ago, and I am terrified of water. Not a fan. I do not swim. I do not fuck around in the ocean.
I don't float.
I don't.
I
float.
don't. I don't sink because I don't go nowhere.
I should sink like a rock. So I went through a float tank, and I was a little anxious because you're in like this dome. And the minute, I mean, it took me a while to get really comfortable with it. And the minute that I just surrendered and just let my body go, and I'm just like, oh, it actually is holding me. It is, I am floating. It shifted everything. So then it allows your parasympathetic nervous system to kick on, where you can just relax in a deeper state, right? Your fight or flight is totally gone. And then your body can start just leveling out the hormones, the cortisol that you've been kicking in your body, your adrenaline. And that's your body's way too of just going, yes, oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
floating and trusting that the water is going to hold you, trusting that the universe is going to hold you. It is. So floating is just trust, something that you can't see, something that you have no idea what's going to happen next, but you just absolutely, completely trust.
And I think that metaphor, people could feel it in their bodies, right? Just, they know the heaviness of sinking, that energetic feeling of sinking in your life. They know just how tired you get, the efforting that goes with swimming all the time. And just that idea that you would be held and supported by the universe, by God, whatever you call it. Yes, man, it changed lives. It changed lives. And I think that, where I want to focus the rest of our conversation is on how do you live in the float state? And I think that I don't think many people believe it's possible to live in the float state, but it 1000% is. People say, well, when shit gets real, then you got to step up. Before we hop into that, I think that one thing that we were talking about as we prep for this that is worth bringing up is, what would each state say? And we said that sink would say, I don't have any control anyway, so why not just give up?
Yeah.
Right? And swim would say, what? I'm going to make this happen. Like, I'm going to take control. But float, interestingly, would probably say about the exact same thing as sink, but it would have a completely different meaning.
Yeah.
And I think that's a spiritual issue that most people have when we start to talk about spirituality and we start to talk about what it means to let life take you, to let life carry you. People are just like, well, what does that mean, give up? And it's like, because float would say, you don't have any control anyway. So why not give up fighting, right? Why not find the flow? And so it's the same words, but it means something totally different.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I love that. And it's, so if you think about floating, like floating down a river, and I do this meditation a lot where you're floating down a river. You're not worried about the pace of the river, any dips in the river. You're not worried about how deep the water is. You're just like, no, I completely trust. Like, I'm just, and then when things show up, you just say yes, or you say no. Like, things are just showing up. Yes or no. Yes or no. You're not out there searching for something and making stuff happen and forging through life. Yeah, so it is a completely different energy.
When this thing first hit, I was really in the space of, you know, Willem and I are so focused on getting a farm in somewhere in Southern Europe. And I really want to save money. And I had just gotten offered this freelance position. And I was like, awesome, possum, meet me at the club. It's going down. We're going to be able to take this money and just save it. It's going to be so good. And like within a year, we're going to have our, you know, little farm, you know, God willing. God was not willing. So I had just gotten offered this freelance position and another one came up with the same company. And I was like, oh, I really want to apply for both. And so the company was like, no, you got to choose. You've got to go with the one you have, or you got to roll the dice on the one that you want to have.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I said, I'm going to roll the dice on the one that I want to have. And so when this thing first came up, the first email I got was, sorry, your application for the second position is no longer available, right? Like, we're not going to move forward on that. And if we do, it'll be, you know, maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year. We'll just have to see what happens. It looks like, you know, sort of all this on in-person stuff that you're going to apply for, it's going to be moved to online, right? So we'll need a lot less teachers. And I'm like, oh, right? So when I put that into the sink, swim, or float, sink would have been like starting to feel sorry for herself, right? Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I already turned down another position. Like, there's no way for me to get that back. Like, just fuck it. Like, depression, you know, I made a mistake, angry, like the whole thing. Swim would have been like, okay, it's time to hustle, right? Like, let me see if I can get the other job. Let me go. I need to get more clients. I need to, you know, push. I need to, you know, start reaching out to people for refer. Like, it would have been a whole, you know, energy of like, I have got to make this work. You know, things can't fail. You know, what if Dylan loses his job? Like, I need to, you know, so just that whole energy that, you know, we're seeing a lot. And then float. Right? When I put that into float, which, you know, it was what feels right for me. And I think that a lot of people would feel like it was crazy town. It was just like, listen, emotions are going to arise in the midst of this, and they are 100% welcome. And so as you think about that, you know, you were talking about like floating down a river. It's like, yeah, you might get snagged on some rocks or some branches that have grown out. And so what are you going to do? Get mad? Be angry? You know, worry? Like, oh, am I going to ever get, you know, it's going to burst my, you know, raft, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You just, this is where you are now. And so, you know, you're going to have to move, right? So push yourself off the things, unhook whatever's been caught, and continue on. The universe is going to bring you many different things. Sometimes you hit spaces that, you know, would you choose it? Absolutely not. But feel what you feel. And continue to trust that the universe is going to bring you exactly what is for you. And you know, in this case, the universe did. I didn't do anything. I was just like, okay, this is very interesting. Let me sit with the discomfort of it to the extent that discomfort was arising. You know, the desire to like pull up your bank book and try to figure out, am I good? Am I good? Am I good? No. Right?
Yeah.
And things have been coming, things have been flowing. And has it gotten me to like the same bottom line I would have been at? No, not at all. But what do we get? What would I get if I tried to swim? Like, truly scaring people away, right? Like, completely contradicting that everything that feels good in my body out of fear.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
And that is a perfect homework for everyone, is to go through situations like that and use that sink, swim, or float, and just put it into practice, right? Am I sinking? Am I totally giving up in a place of depression and poor me? Or am I swimming? Am I pushing too hard? Am I fearful? Like, what are the thoughts, the feelings that are coming up? Or how can I float? Where am I floating? And if not, how can I float? How can I just let go and completely trust? So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's perfect homework. I love it. Great.
Absolutely.
I love this topic. This is wonderful.
Yeah, it's such a soft topic. It's like such
Yeah.
a soft place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, you can find me on Allie Duncan BC and on all the things. So Instagram and Facebook. And then I am Allie Duncan is my website. And Erica, where can they find you?
You can find me at ericadanielle.com as per usual, and online very soon you will see me showing up at Erica Danielle Overshares again, and obviously on SheKings on Instagram and the Facebooks.
We do have a Patreon page, you guys. We have the link below. So please go to Patreon and support us. It's just small fee of $8 a month to support what we're doing and to bring you more good stuff. So if you haven't already, please do that. We would appreciate you. And so we can keep sending out value to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Allie's been on a value kick.
I am.
Anyway, holla back,
Right.
people. It's been
Thanks for
real.
tuning in, guys. Go get some sun safely.
Safely.